We're still here in Stewart with my good friend Mark. Mark, how you doing today?
I'm very good, thank you.
Mark, we've moved over to Fidelity, and we want to talk a little bit about this screen and why we use this screen when we're dealing with LED panels.
Fidelity Vision is formulated to assist in removing the pixelation of a given pitch of LED direct illuminating panel. This one happens to be a 2.6 millimeter pitch made by silicon core. And what the product does is, with a minimal contrast penalty, it basically removes pixelization so you can rephotograph and people can use the panel in a much closer coupled viewing distance without irritation. And you can do a stand-up in front of it without getting the zebra moire, which is a huge technical challenge for the product as a whole, where you try to rephotograph it and you get the zebra moire effect. So this removes that. The product is offered with custom framing and standard framing, and there's a degree of freedom in the bracketing so that you can tune this whole system for maximum sharpness, or you can detune it, whatever's necessary to prevent moire in a particular rephotograph situation.
So it's really something that allows us as integrators to come in and know that we're putting in whatever pitch we're working with, but we have that flexibility to create the desired result that maybe isn't reflected in that dot pitch.
Well, what it can do is you could go to, say, a 2.6 or a pitch, a coarser pitch, and save many tens of thousands of dollars and get a utility previously only available at a much finer pitch.
Right. The other thing I wanted to chat with you about was walking around the booth. I've seen a couple of logos and whatnot representing 16K. That's something that we're seeing, or we're talking about a little bit more. Talk about why you guys are talking about it.
Well, 16K is just a provocative statement we've decided to make to take a little bit of the heat out of the perception that there are resolution issues with two-piece projection relating to the screen, when in fact for Stewart Filmscreen there is no such constraint in resolution emanating from the screen. And basically the concept behind the 16K is as follows. If you take a 10-foot screen and a viewer at 10 feet, when you're talking about resolution, you need three ingredients at minimum. Who's the viewer? How far is the viewer away?
Right.
How many degrees of vision arc are involved? And then the resolution of the display. But if you don't have those three elements, you're not being scientific. You're just using jargon.
Yeah.
So what we can promise is that in our product line, we have engineered to 6 line pairs per millimeter with all of our fabrics, and this is because of our relationships with people like JPL and military simulation and high-value visualization customers that demand this. They crowd many high pixel devices onto small screens, trying to get a lot of information onto a fabric. Right. So at 6 line pairs per millimeter, we know that in a 10-foot screen there are 3,048 millimeters per 10 feet. So if you take 3,000 times 6, that's 18,000 possible addresses for a pixel.
Right.
On a fabric only 10 feet wide. Yeah. So that's more than 16K. So since 16 is a multiple of all these jargon pieces of 4K, 8K, which are, those are realities. 16K is a dream. It's an artificial number, but we're ready for that. So we could do a 5-foot wide screen at 8K.
Right.
We do a 10-foot wide screen at 16K and still not be the bottleneck in resolution for that system. So basically, a screen from Stewart Filmscreen is future-proof for quite some time. And truth be told, from a lot of our competitors it is too, but from some of our competitors, not as much.
Very much so.
But that's the story.
Perfect. All right, well, thank you so much. For more information,
Thank you for your interest.
On all your products today, where can people find that information?
That's at stewartfilmscreen.com.
Excellent.
And we stand ready to help with any sort of projection issue, any sort of challenge. That's our specialty. We pride ourselves in serving the fussiest and most particular customers in this space.
So you're perfect for me. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you so much. For more video from the show floor, please visit avnation.tv.